We are gods, we are kings, we march in faith, cause we believe we can change the world to what it needs, stand against our enemies, cause we can. Yeah, can't nothing ever stop us. Take one and another will rise up. We'll endure until we reach the end. We are gods, we are kings, demanding change, cause we believe we can.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Happy Sabbath to you all. All praises. So we're going to go over a little class here. A lot of you all may not be aware or are recently aware of what we are partaking in, right? You're about to find out that this ain't Christianity, basically. Honestly, that's what you're gonna find out. You might have been, lukewarm since you've been in here, but today you're gonna find out that it ain't time to be lukewarm. Okay, so we're gonna call this class "The War is Already Here." That's what we're gonna call it. Okay, the war is already here. We'll go over some scripts to show you that. All right, so let's get through it. Let's open up with Revelation 12:17.
Revelations chapter 12 and verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ.
So just to let you know that the dragon is talking about Esau, right? And the spirit that is in Esau is the spirit of Satan. All right, and I'll put a precept later on to let you know that. Well, let's get to it now. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians to show you that the spirit that works through your oppressor is his daddy. Right. We are our Father is the Most High, and we got his spirit of righteousness in us when we awake to it. And Esau has the spirit of his father in him. 2 Thessalonians, and it's 4. And let's see where we want to start at with it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and let's read verse 9. Let's read verse 4, and then we're going to jump down to 9.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Now we all know, you just type in on Google, who shows himself as God. And we might not have known before, but if you ever Googled Jesus, the word Jesus Christ, it's 10 million something images pop up in 0.8 of a second. We know who that is, that's showing himself that he is God in the temple of God. We know who that is. So let's jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
So God is telling you, Christ is telling you through the spirit of Paul, the man that shows himself as God in the temple of God, when you finally wake up to realize who you are, to identify who that man is, just know that he's got the power of Satan behind him. So go back to Revelation 12:17. He didn't just come up with a mathematical equation to get to the moon by himself. That's a next level spirit that's working in him. We started flying planes when? They started flying planes 1903, right? The Wright brothers. They went to the moon in 1969. That's 66 years later. You've got a jet propulsion that's able to take you from the point A of the ground to the damn moon in outer space. That's the next level spirit that's working with you. And it's all to fulfill the scriptures of the Bible so we can make sense of who that man is. Satan's working behind him. And in the process of that, read verse 17 again.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
Real quick, what's the precept for the woman that it's talking about right here? Does the brother know? Brother David had his hand up first. So if you don't have this precept next to this, write it down beside it so you can find out who the woman is, because Revelation is written in all metaphors, right? Just speak up.
Jeremiah 6 and 2.
Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 2. That shows you who the woman is in Revelation. Do you got that, Officer Lyle? Soldier Lyle?
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
There you go. So now you know that woman in Revelation is referring to the seed of Israel. And it's not all of Israel. It ain't all of our brothers and sisters that Esau is making war against. Go back to Revelation 12 and 17.
Revelation chapter 12 verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and had the testimony of Jesus Christ.
So it's after a specific set of people. If you keep the commandments of God and the faith in Jesus Christ, you've got a specific purpose in your life. You want what to come on earth, brothers? What do you want? The kingdom. So you understand that it's a way you have to discipline your life, have to keep your life in order. It's things that you can do and you can't do. You understand that it's an end all be all. It's a goal that you are fighting towards. So she's not making the dragon is not making war with the ungodly of our people that don't keep the commandments. They do exactly what the oppressor want them to do. Be Negroes and Hispanics. That's what they want them to be. So the war is going to be against those that have a purpose. Go to Ecclesiastes now. Chapter 1, let's read 4 through 9. Let's read quick.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
So we come and we go. That's, ever since the Most High created Adam and said, be fruitful and multiply, one generation has come and it has gone. That has been the cycle of life. Go ahead.
The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. The wind goeth toward the south.
So right there in verse 5 is letting you know that the earth does not revolve around the sun. That's letting you know right there that the sun is moving. Go ahead, verse 6.
The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. All things things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
It's what?
There is no new thing under the sun.
That's why the class is titled War is already here, because there's no new thing under the sun. Go to Genesis chapter 15. There's no new thing. We might have forgotten, fallen asleep, relaxed, forgot who we are, but there's no new thing under the sun. War has always been here since the conception of sin. And we'll put a scripture for that later. Read that. Genesis 15. Let's start at 7. Let's read 7 through 13.
Genesis chapter 15 and verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him,
he said, what again? I'm going to give you what?
I'm going to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So Abraham asked that question. So he said, how am I going to inherit the land, right? Jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river of Euphrates.
Read.
The Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaims, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
So let's see. It was people already there, but God said you can have the land. How was we going to get the land that somebody is already in? What was it? You know, hey, y'all got an eviction notice. You've got 30 days to leave, or we're going to sit your stuff outside. Samson. Hey, who got the mic? Who got the microphone? Anybody got it? One of the sons of thunder got it.
By making war.
Okay, by making war. All right. Okay. Right. So go to Joshua chapter 1. And today we're going to do some historical reading. So get your reading ears on. Let's read. We're going to read through this quick, but we're going to read the whole chapter of Joshua chapter 1.
Joshua chapter 1 verse 1. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses, minister, saying, Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have given unto you, as I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river of Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward going down of the sun, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. Be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them.
Who did he swear? Who did the Most High swear unto to give the land? We just read it. Lemuel in the back. Who did he swear to?
Shalom leadership.
Shalom.
He swore it to Abraham.
He swore it to Abraham, right? So now we read in the actual action that has to be put forth to get what God has given you. And you see the action that God is preparing Joshua for. Let you know that if it's anything that God is going to give us, it's going to take some action to get it. 3 letters. War. Read on.
Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
So God is already laying out the stipulations for the contract. He's already laying it out in the beginning, so at the end you can't say why not? Why didn't this happen? Well, I gave you the contract stipulations already. Did you forget? Verse 9.
Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee wheresoever thou goest. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the host, and command the people, saying, Prepare your victuals, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan, to go and to possess the land, which the Lord your God giveth you to possess it.
Read.
And to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half of the tribe of Manasseh, spake Joshua, saying, Remember the word which Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, The Lord your God hath given you rest, and hath given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side Jordan. But ye shall pass before your brethren armed, all the mighty men of valor, and help them, until the Lord have given you brethren rest, as he hath given you. And they also shall possess the land which the Lord your God giveth them. Then ye shall return unto the land of your possession, and enjoy it, which Moses the Lord's servant gave you on this side Jordan toward the sun rising. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us, we will go, according as we hearken unto Moses in all things. So will we hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. Whosoever he be that doeth rebel against the commandment, and will rebel against the commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that commanded him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of good courage.
Okay, so now let's see who's got their spiritual ears open. Name me some characteristics that we read of in Joshua chapter 1. What's some characteristics that we read in there? Joshua up front had his hand up. Stand up. Name me one.
To be courageous.
Okay, courageous. Caleb, see what you got. Strong. Okay. Lawahabia.
Obedience to God.
Obedience to God. That's good. Anybody else? Obadiah.
Yes, sir. Brave.
Okay. Anybody else? Is that it? Okay. Gabriel in the back. Let's see. Last one.
Shalom, leadership.
Shalom.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid. Okay. So all of you all missed the main one. Right. You can do all of those things individually. None of you mentioned that they was one mind, one spirit. That's the problem with Negroes today. We got Negroes that's brave out there in the world, Hispanics. They'll shoot you in a heartbeat. We got strong dudes, NFL, hell, you can see them the strongest people on the earth. We got all of those characteristics among our people today. Right now, none of them are unified with one mind in the war. Read verse 16 through 18 again.
Verse 16. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commanded us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us we will go, according as we hearken unto Moses in all things. So will we hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. Whosoever he be that doeth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commanded him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage.
Where do we read that in the New Testament? Go ahead, Captain. You got something?
Check. Yeah, what I was going to say was, why this movement scares Esau the most.
Yep.
The reason why is that they so used to us using our power, like you say,
Physical strength,
or even our mental strength for other things.
Yeah.
Sports,
education,
politics,
doctorate,
education,
master degree,
right. But when we
business.
use our strength, when we use our minds solely on unifying together, that thing is deadly, man.
Yeah, it's deadly. And if you paying attention, you see immediately after the men's conference, not even a week later, they automatically drop something to distort the image of that positive thing that millions of people have saw on the internet. They immediately dropped it. They said, oh my goodness, they are unifying with one mind. We got to do something. For those of you that don't know, that documentary that they dropped, it wasn't supposed to come out until next month. It was supposed to come out next month. But whoever is surveillancing us saw what we done in Chicago and said, drop it now. Put it out right now. Yeah, Officer Tobias. Microphone behind you.
Check. Let me ask one question. How did literally everybody come into this truth? Where do you first see the truth at? YouTube, right? BBC could have went to Netflix. They could have went to sold a documentary to any of those paid people or whatever. They went straight to YouTube because they know all those millions of people that you're talking about. They're gonna type IUIC, and the first thing that's gonna pop up is
the documentary. If you can look it up on YouTube and pull it up for us just to show y'all, it was pinned at the top on YouTube, which Google owns, and it didn't have a single view. Let's see if it pops up still. Oh, boom. What's at the top? It don't even have the name of IUIC on it, but for some reason it's pinned at the top above what, brothers? Chicago campaign.
They pulled some strings to make sure it got up there.
Oh yeah.
Meaning YouTube is in cahoots with them.
Yeah. They own it. This is, like you just said, this is the art of war. I'm going over this for all of you that thought this was church. This ain't church. We don't have time to play with each other, your lives and all of that. You're going up and down. We need you to stay on the straight and narrow path, because your enemy, every time you make a positive move, a chess move, they right there next to you. Your move.
And you got to ask yourself, if this movement means nothing, if this ain't real, if this Bible,
if we just Negroes and we ain't the real Jews,
right? If we ain't the real Jews, why so much attention on us?
Yep.
For doing something that's really on like a minute scale. What we did was really not. I mean, it was huge to us, but it's really, I mean, a few hundred people. It's huge, but think about it. Farrakhan had 1 million.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. You had Farrakhan, who had, what, Million Man March? Not once,
two of them.
Twice, right? Did he get anybody to oppose him?
I didn't see no documentaries dropped on him.
Did he get anybody speaking evil of him? No, not one drop, not a pin drop. But then you have a small organization, 1,000 men, right? Then you get all this backlash.
Tell you, man.
Put on your spiritual goggles, y'all.
Dropped it right after. It's got no views, and it's the first video at the top when you type in IUIC. We got videos that got 500,000 views, hundreds of thousands of views, nowhere near the top. But their documentary with 0 views is at the very top when you type in IUIC. Not a game. Matthias, what you got?
The reason why they pop up when they put into IUIC and they didn't use IUIC is because they use a hashtag.
Right. It's called algorithms.
Yes, they use the
You got to pay for that stuff, like major money.
And that lets you know who they targeting.
Yep.
Why didn't they say hashtag stolen women?
Hashtag murdered teenagers.
Murdered teenagers. Hashtag saviors or something like that. Hashtag IUIC.
And every word that goes with you, Black Hebrew Israelite, Israel United in Christ, Black Jews, whatever anybody would ever look for on the internet to search for this truth, they made sure they put it in the hashtags. Lemuel.
Hey, Cap, they also already moved it to Google. So if you go into Google and type in IUIC, it's right there.
It's popping up too. And for those of you that don't know, we miraculously made USA Today News also. That documentary right there was in the USA Today. But the march went nowhere near, not on no news, nothing. So you got to be one mind, one spirit when you are at war. All right, go to Joshua 6. Let's read 1 through 3. Let's see something. The effects.
Joshua chapter 6 and verse 1. Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said unto Joshua, See, I have given into thy hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, and ye men of war.
And you what?
All ye men of war. And go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days.
So he gave us an order to do, right? And there ain't no lifting of a finger. Don't pull out no sword or nothing. Just do what I commanded you to do. Jump over to verse 12 on down.
Verse 12. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord, and 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually, and blew with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them. But the reward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And the second day they compassed the city once and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord hath given you the city, and the city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein. To the Lord, only to Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing.
Keep yourself from sin. Go ahead.
Lest ye make yourselves accursed when ye take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel accursed, and trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. So the people shouted with the priests, blew with the trumpets. And it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city.
So some of you that may have seen the videos that's been posted, you seen 1,000 man or so shouting. How did that sound when you was watching just 1,000 man? Was it low or was it loud? It was loud, right? That was just 1,000 of us in one mind, one spirit, doing what was commanded of us when it was commanded. So just imagine it's 600,000 people that all yelled in one loud voice. They shouted whatever Joshua told them to shout at the same time, and it was the spirit behind it was enough to break down walls. Now this wasn't the type of walls where like we got, today a lot of the walls are made out of wood and stucco and whatever else, right? Wind blow hard enough it might fall down, right? These are walls that are made out of ancient brick and mortar and mud and dried in the sun for hundreds of years, so it can stand the test of time. This ain't no easy walls that just come down. They are built to protect whoever's on the inside. So it's going to take, it would take a spiritual force behind it to actually knock down walls and not even lift a finger. But you have to be in what, brothers? One mind. One mind, one spirit to change things without lifting a finger. Go to Judges chapter 3. And let's read verse 1 and 2. Judges chapter 3. Let's read verse 1 and 2. So that's the effects of being one mind, one spirit, doing what is commanded of you when it is commanded, and not doing your own thing. Just imagine if we got, out of the 600,000, you got 300,000 of them, you know, my voice hurt. My voice hurt. I ain't yelling. I don't speak out loud. I'm going to do, no, I ain't doing that. Wouldn't even be able to do it. It got to be all on one accord. And the Lord wouldn't have been behind that spiritual act of knocking down a wall if all the people didn't have one mind and one spirit, like we read at the beginning of Joshua. All that you command us to do, we will do. God get behind things when we all on one accord. That's what he waiting on now to come back to the number is fulfilled for us to get on one mind, one accord. It'll be over. But y'all gonna see later. Judges chapter 3, and let's read verse 1 and 2.
Judges chapter 3 and verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left.
The Lord did what?
Which the Lord left.
He left the nations, right? Go ahead.
To prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war.
Hold on. God let this enemy rule over us and stay here and not destroy him, so he can teach us what?
To teach them war.
God is teaching us war. Now it's just a different tactic of it. It's many different what you will call it, statutes of war, right? There's many different of them. So I know a lot of you brothers come in here, you might not understand what is your walk, your purpose. Your first thing to let you know, God called you in to the army to be a part of the war. I know the spirits might not be built up for that and all that, but you was called in to go to war. No soldier enlist into the army to, you know what? Thank you for enlisting me in the army. Here, let me get your papers together.
Right.
Nah, that ain't what God calling you in the army for. He don't want you to do paperwork, shuffle papers around and all of that. Nah, you ain't doing that. You was called here for a specific purpose, to teach them war. Read on.
To teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof.
Now, as we said, a lot of y'all don't know about war. Some of us we ain't fighters, you know. We was always making peace. Oh, I don't want no trouble, man. I don't want no trouble, man. Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say, man. It's your world. You know, I'm just here paying rent. Right? So you might not have been a physical fighter, okay, but now you in a war where you got to use the spirit within you to fight back against the evil that is prevalent, right? The spiritual, right? Go to Exodus 15. This is why God left them there, to teach you war, though. Read that. Exodus 15, verse 3.
Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. The Lord is a man of war.
He's a what?
A man of war.
He's a what?
A man of war.
Just to let you know, brothers and sisters, your father is a man of war. Read on.
The Lord is his name.
That's how he get down. That's how he maneuvers. That's his spirit. That's how he rolls. It's just, you know, at the drop of a dime, the Most High ready to get down. You know, you got some of them brothers in the world, like, you got to be careful where you take them, what you say to them, who you take them around, because it can easily pop off and you be in the fight with them. Yeah. Dang, this dude ready to kill. That's how the Lord roll. Say something crazy. What you say? You ain't going to do what? Oh, I thought you said you want to keep the Sabbath holy. I was about to stone you. Okay, let me relax. That's what he did with when we came out of Egypt, right? That's why Moses had to jump in and save us. Yep. Oh, you worshiping idols? Move, Moses. Move. Yep. I got death for them. Lord, please remember, these your people. You inherited him. The nations are gonna talk about you if you don't bring them in and do what you promised. They're gonna talk about you.
Hey, Moses knew exactly what to say.
He knew exactly what to appease his
Lord,
anger.
The nation's gonna say you did this.
Yeah, they're gonna say you wasn't powerful enough. Oh, okay.
Right, for your name.
I'm glad you reminded me, because my first thought was, let's go to war. I'm ready. Make a whole new people out of you alone. I ain't even worried about it, because he's a man of war, right? So go back to Judges chapter 3, and let's read verse 3 and 4. Just remember that of who you dealing with, and the spirit of the Most High is the spirit that's got to be in you. That's what he wants in every single one of his sons. That's why he says in 1 Corinthians, he said, can't no effeminates come into the kingdom. He ain't about that. No. When it's time to go to war, and you back here like, oh Lord, oh, I put clear fingernail polish on my fingers, right?
Gotta go get a
really
what do we call pedicure, manicure?
Gotta go to pedicure.
Gotta go to manicure.
I gotta get a massage. My shoulders, my back hurt. Lord. All right. He ain't about that. Read verse 3.
Judges chapter 3 and verse 3. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonites, Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon, unto the entering in of Hamath.
Now let's see why the Lord keeps these nations putting pressure on her. Read verse 4.
And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses.
So the other nations are left here to make war with us to see if you really going to keep the law. Because if you keep the law, you get the what? You get the victory. We in war right now. War is win, lose. You keep the laws, you get the victory. You sin, you're going to take an L. You're going to take an L. No matter what you do, it's going to turn against you if you don't keep the commandments and be with one mind, right? Let's prove that. Go to Judith chapter 5. This is what the nations know. We read this a lot. Now it takes on a whole different meaning of the understanding of it. Now we see it coming to play. Let's read through this quick. Judith chapter 5. Let's read 1 through 9. Let's read about our forefathers being on the brink of war against Nebuchadnezzar.
Judith chapter 5 and verse 1. Then it was declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war.
They did what?
Prepared for war. And had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the Champagne country.
So the men of war got ready for war. They saw it on the horizon. They seen what the enemy was doing, and they did not go and get in the hot tub. They prepared for it. It's coming. We know it's coming. Let's get our mind right. Go ahead.
Wherewith he was very angry, and called on the princes of Moab, and the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast. And he said unto them, Tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their army?
Read on.
And why have they determined not to come and meet me, more than all the inhabitants of the west?
So breaking it up to today, what names do the multitude of them go by? Okay, they go by you got ISUBK, they call themselves IUIC, they say Israel United in Christ. We got next, Black Hebrew Israelites, Black Jews. What do they call themselves? How do they get people to look at them? Chicago campaign. Okay, let's throw that in there too. Let's do all of that, so when we drop this video, it's going to be right at the top. When are they having men's conference? It's on that date. We know it's supposed to come out next month, but let's just wait until they get done with it. You think that video just got done like yesterday and then they dropped it at that moment? That stuff been done. It been done. They been holding on to it, waiting for the right moment. That's the same thing that the enemies back in the day asked. Who's their power? What strength do they have? How do they get attention? How many is in their army? Same thing. Go ahead. Verse 5.
Then Zedekiah.
Verse 4 though. It says verse 4. It says it says, why have they determined not to come and meet me? Why don't they want to join with everybody else? Why don't they want to be assimilated with the rest of their people? Oh, they don't like Christmas? Hashtag Christmas in there. Hashtag the truth about the Jews. Hashtag real Jews are black. Put all of that in there. It's a reason why they don't want to come and join with everybody else. Let's make sure we know everything about them. Verse 5, read on.
Then Zedekiah, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
So Achior was in turn a what? Informant. He was an informant. And for him to give all of what he's about to tell you, he had to be amongst the people learning their ins and their outs. Listen to the detail that he gives. Verse 6.
This people are descended of the Chaldeans, and they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea.
Now you know what? He went way back before we even became a nation. Way back to Abraham. You know that video that Deacon Yawasop and Bishop and them pull out all the time about that one informant that destroyed the Black Panthers. I forget his name. Darthard Perry. He said that the enemies, he said they've got a well detailed library on everything Negroes like. They know and that goes back to the picture that which Bishop showed in one class. They know exactly where the Jews are on the west coast of Africa.
Cap, remember when they played that video, he said FBI had so much information on our music, our culture, where the agent knew more music
than the black man.
Folks. Exactly.
He knew the white dude knew more about black people than the black dude himself.
Right.
That's how detailed the records are of every one of us in here. If you got social media, if you got a phone number, you best believe you in the database. Oh, best believe it. You in the database. That's why it can't hide no fear. That's why this is about keeping faith in Christ and the commandments of God. That's the only thing gonna protect you. Every single one of us in here that have ever used the phone and said shalom, you in the database. Best believe it. Because they listen, the Patriot Act says they can listen to every single phone call you make and go into the records on your phone. It's nothing you can hide from them now. So ain't no time to be fearful now. You already in. You in too deep. Right. Ain't no backing out now.
Hey, that's why the Mosai say blood in, blood out.
Yup. As soon as you take that bread and that wine, which is my blood, it's blood in, blood out, baby. Verse 8.
Verse 8. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven, the God whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt, and were increased with gold and silver, and with very much cattle.
All right, jump down to verse 17.
Verse 17. And while they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
Read it again.
And while they sinned not before their God, they prospered. Because the God that had iniquity was with them.
That hateth
iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles.
So when they started to depart from that mindset that God gave them in Joshua, all that you say we will do, we will follow you. And anybody who doesn't want to fall in line and be one mind, one spirit with us, we're gonna put them to death. When they started departing from that mind right there, that mindset, they became destroyed in many, many battles. Go ahead.
very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their God.
Oh, but now the mindset has changed. They used to be wicked. They was individuals. They wanted to do their own thing. But at this moment, right now, Holofernes, they are on the same page. The same mind. Read verse 19 again.
But now they are returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So that's why all of us have to be on the same mind and in the same spirit and rid our body of sin, because just the same as it was in Jericho, when we did something good on the same page, we knocked down the walls of Jericho, didn't lift a sword at all. We went in and started to devour them, but it was one Negro among them that saw a damn dashiki and some gold bars and decided to take it. And what happened? What happened when he decided to take it and we went to war again? We lost. A bunch of brothers got killed in the war because of one brother in there. And the Lord said, I am not among you because it's an accursed thing among you. I will not walk among you. I'm leaving. And that's when he called all Israel out here, called the whole tribe of Judah out here now called the whole family of this one, and called out Achior out of them. That's the Negro from the tribe of Judah that got sticky fingers. Right. Oh man, dang, dude, you messing us all up. One brother, you messing us up. Just one brother not on the same mind, some page, can destroy everything that we doing. Read verse 21 again.
Verse 20 or 21?
21.
21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
So I hope now in the midst of this war that we in, you understand that it's not, as we say all the time, it's not about me, it's about we. Your one action can affect the judgment of God dealing with a whole nation. Dealing with the whole nation. You wonder why we've been here for so long? It's you. It's you. You doing this secretly with sin behind her, leave here, and we don't know what's going on. You're sleeping with this woman, got babies by him, and you don't reveal it till 3 months later. Oh, God, look at him. Add another 5 years on this captivity. You're robbing, you're stealing, you're smoking, you're fornicating, you're having sex, and men and women.
And usually, too, leadership, too. When we see a congregation not growing, and when we inspect it, we're like, hold up, this is not normal. Because usually this place is a fruitful place where we have a lot of believers. What's going on? Is there sin in the body? And then when we examine it and leadership see that, sure enough, someone in the midst of sin.
And a lot of times we remove the leader that is over that school, and then all of a sudden, 6 months, it's 50 people done joined the congregation. Well, dang, where'd they come from? The Lord held them back until the sin was removed out the body.
Right.
So each one of our lives affect every single one of us in here. It affects the nation. Go to 2 Chronicles 15. Let's read 1 and 2. So it said if they depart from their God, okay, let's go. We can take them down. But if they got one mind, one spirit in this war, you better leave them alone, because they God gonna fight for them. Read that 2 Chronicles 15. Let's read verse 1 and 2.
2 Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 1. And the Spirit of God came upon Azariah, the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa, and said unto him, Hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. The Lord is with you.
The Lord is what?
The Lord is with you, while ye be with him. And if ye seek him, he will be found of you. But if ye forsake him, he will forsake you.
He will forsake you. But what's the one thing that God requires for us to be with him and him to be with us? What's the one thing? That ain't rocket science. Manasseh. What's the one thing that God requires from us to be near him and him to be with us?
Obedience to his law.
Okay, obedience to his law. That's it. That's the one thing that he requires. Go to Exodus 19. Exodus 19, read 3 through 6. Now get your thinking caps on, because I'm going to ask you some detailed line upon line questions right here.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 3. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will not obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
Hold on, read verse 5 again.
Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine.
Okay, so here's my question. He gave us the stipulation. So what is the covenant? What is the covenant he required of us? It ain't hard either. You might think, dude, it ain't hard. Is that Jabez in the back? Let's see what you got. What's the covenant that he required of us?
Shalom, leadership.
Shalom.
To keep his commandments.
Okay, where would you go to prove that that's the covenant?
I don't have the precept.
Okay. John Levi, let's see what you got.
Deuteronomy 29 and 10.
Deuteronomy 29 and 10. You close, but no lamb. Anybody else? Ariel, up here. Aryeh. I said Ariel. Aryeh.
Shalom, leadership.
Shalom.
Deuteronomy 28.
Oh, okay. All right. What verse?
1 through 15.
Okay, all right, I'll take it. Deuteronomy 28. Let's go to it. Let's read Deuteronomy 28:1. This is the covenant. He laid it out. 28, let's read verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Remember, we just read that in Exodus 19 and 5. He said, if thou hearken unto my voice and keep my covenant. He didn't tell you what the covenant was right there. Now he's going to explain in Deuteronomy 28. Read that again.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
So what was the covenant he wanted us to keep, brothers? The commandments. That's the covenant for him to be amongst us and we to be with him. Keep the commandments, and I'll roll with you. I'll never forsake thee. Which I command thee this day, read on,
that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. The Lord shall cause thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways.
Now jump over to verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now jump up to verse 25.
Verse 25. And the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
Okay, so let's see who's thinking. Verse 7 and verse 25. Let me see what I wrote down here. What type of situations is verse 7 and verse 25? Naeem in the back corner. Let's see.
that situation when we go to war.
When we go to war. Verse 7 and verse 25 is when you go to war. If you keep the commandments, the covenant, if you go to war, don't even worry about it. I got you. If you living under that curse and you not keeping the commandments, you best beware. Because your enemies are going to destroy you. That's why, historically, who came before the Israelites on the earth? Like, what was on the earth? Let's do a historical timeline since Judah got over here. Let's see what happens. So we got one brother that knows a little history. We got two. We got three. What happened historically since we got over here to us trying to rise up? What has happened? Let's see. Matthias had his hand up first. Let's see. Name the things in history that have happened.
We try to free up.
Because this is what we in Deuteronomy 28, right? So this stuff that I just asked you is stuff you have to know to bring out Deuteronomy 28 to make it.
We try to escape slavery. We try to flee from slavery, but nothing happened.
Okay, let's go to the far back, Naeem. You got to know this stuff to be able to bring out Deuteronomy 28.
When we so-called got free and released, we had to face Jim Crow laws, so more oppression upon us.
Okay, all right. You close, but you're not there yet. Samson, let's take a shot at it. I got to move on.
When we first was free from slavery, they brought up the KKK.
Okay, yeah. Simeon back there. Emmanuel. Last one. Give Northern Kingdom a shot. Let's see what you got.
Shalom, leadership. We lost who we were after slavery.
Nah. Okay, so let me give you a historical thing. When Black Panthers came together as a unit, as a people, what happened to them? Did they survive? Did they accomplish the goal that they was trying to do? Okay. What about Islam back in the 60s? When they got together, they had way more numbers than we got right now. And they was moving force, and then all of a sudden, there's nothing. Did they accomplish the goal that they was trying to do? What about AIM, American Indian Movement? Did they accomplish the goal? What about the Brown Berets? Was that Issachar? No, Brown Berets was Issachar.
Yeah, Issachar.
Right. So did the Brown Berets, did they accomplish the mission? Y'all might not. You got to look him up. But the Young Lords, that was Ephraim during the 60s and the 70s. Did they accomplish the mission? No, not at all. So all of those movements that came about, all of them are destroyed because, verse 25, read that again.
Verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them.
Because they did not hearken unto the commandments of God. Anytime you go to war for a goal and you don't have the commandments of God behind you, it's bound to be destroyed. Even with civil rights, when we did that, it flipped and turned on us. Now we are worse off. Before, we separate and scattered. Nobody cares about each other. Hell, that's your child. It ain't my child. It ain't my business. I ain't worried about it. He slapped you on the bus. World star. And you keep it moving. That stuff wasn't heard of back in the day. Everybody whooped your kid's butt. I was going to say something else, but that's what they said. It takes a village to raise a child. That ain't no more. Is you on your own, and I'm worried about me. So that didn't even, the only good thing that came out of that is that we allowed to stand on the corners and preach the gospel of God. That's it. Black folk was working for white people before civil rights. You was still working for them at the same time. They was oppressing you. It's the same thing today. Ain't nothing really changed. So let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 11. We're going to get into when did our people first turn on us. Let's see. 1 Maccabees chapter 11, and let's read 13 through 21.
1 Maccabees chapter 11, verse 13.
I'm building up to something. Go ahead.
Then Ptolemy entered into Antioch, where he set 2 crowns upon his head.
What captivity is this, brothers? Okay, go ahead.
The crown of Asia and of Egypt. And in the mean season
What's
was
the
king...
mean season? What does that mean? What's the mean season? Obadiah, let's see what you got.
Winter.
Winter, right. Mean season, winter. Okay, let's go back to it.
And in the mean season was King Alexander in Cilicia, because those that dwelt in those parts had revolted from him. But when Alexander heard of this, he came to war against him.
He came to what?
He came to war against him.
Okay, go ahead.
Whereupon King Ptolemy brought forth his host and met him with a mighty power and put him to flight. So Alexander fled into Arabia, there to be defended. But King Ptolemy was exalted. For Zabdiel the Arabian took off Alexander's head and sent it unto Ptolemy.
Ptolemy ruled what kingdom, brothers? Let's see. Ptolemy ruled what kingdom? Paul, stand up.
Egypt.
Egypt, exactly right. All right, let's go back.
Verse 18.
Let me show y'all something real quick. Is it up here? Causing reign his father's king. Okay, it ain't got a name there. Okay. All right, but Cleopatra was his daughter for all those Nubian. Yeah, they say Cleopatra was black. She was a white woman. All right, back to it. Verse 17.
Verse 17. For Zabdiel the Arabian took off Alexander's head and sent it unto Ptolemy. King Ptolemy also died the third day after, and they that were in the strongholds were slain one of another. By this means,
check.
Hold on. Check. By this means, Demetrius reigned in the 137th year. At the same time, Jonathan gathered together them that were in Judea to take the tower that was in Jerusalem.
So Jonathan is gathering people together to do what? Fight for who, brothers? His people, right? Read on.
And he made many engines of war against it. Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people.
Every time, it always happens. When we gather together to fight against the oppressor, out of nowhere, here comes the ungodly people that hate their own people. They hate that they got brown skin and kinky hair on their body. Black, I hate your black gums. I hate black. What's that movie in Don't Be a Menace? What was it?
Black.
I hate Whoopi Goldberg's gums because that black. I hate, what do you say? I hate Wesley Snipes because he black. You get people like that. Black peppers, yeah. You got that. Read verse 21.
Then certain ungodly persons who hated their own people went unto the king and told him that Jonathan besieged the tower.
Now, in all of the history that we read about, you don't read about us turning on each other until who came into power? The white man. Nobody went to Nebuchadnezzar and made a league with him. Nobody went to King Cyrus. Nobody went to the Assyrian king and set up our own people. When the white man came into power, here goes Israel turning on his own people. Yeah, let that marinate. I hope they see this too when it come out. All right, let's go first. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 4. Who had a hand up just a minute ago? If you got some questions, hold them. 2 Maccabees chapter 4, and we're going to read 1 through 17 kind of quick.
2 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 1. This Simon now, of whom we spake afore, having been a bearer of the money and of his country, slandered Onias.
So listen to this. So now this is what ungodly people, that ungodly ones that hate their own people, this is what they do. A bearer of money, slander, what it say? It says, and of his country, slandered Onias. Onias was a righteous priest. It's going to say it. Go ahead.
As if he had terrified Heliodorus and been the worker of these evils.
So he blamed Onias for the angel came down and jacked him up. But he blamed Onias like he's the one that did the evil. That it came from God, but the blame was put on man. Make sure you're paying attention. Go ahead.
Thus was he bold to call him a traitor that had deserved well of the city and tendered his own nation and was so zealous of the laws.
So this evil, ungodly man calls a righteous man a traitor. Why would he call him a traitor? Let's see who's thinking. Why would he call a righteous man fighting for his own people, keeping the laws? Who was he calling him a traitor to? Let's see who's thinking. Lemuel, you got your head up. Let's see. Who was he calling him a traitor to?
He was calling him a traitor to Greek. He was on Esau's side.
Right. He's calling him a traitor. You're a traitor. He's a traitor to the white man. He's a traitor to you, massa. He's a traitor to you. The ungodly person said, this dude's a traitor to you, massa. He's not doing what you. He's not following all the strange laws of the land.
That lets you know how to combat this man.
Yeah.
You combat your enemy by keeping the laws of God.
Yep. That let you know too when you see ungodly persons of your own people out there hating against what we do, it ain't got nothing to do with you. They love their oppressor secretly. No matter how much they spit scriptures out their mouth, because if you loved your own people, you would not spew out slanderous things to get other people to join with your people. Because we just read where Simon, he was it was Onias. He was for his countryman. He was about his people. He kept the laws. If you really about your people, there's no way you can speak evil of some of your own people. Unless you have an affinity for the white man. Verse 3.
Verse 3. But when their hatred went so far that by one of Simon's faction murders were committed.
Hold on, now the hatred got so deep that now they started to, now we're gonna start killing people now. Read that again, verse 3.
Check. Verse 3. But when their hatred went so far.
Now I'm gonna show you where the hatred is right now. We'll see it a little bit later. I'll show you where it is now. But you got to prepare your mind for when it's coming to your doorstep, because it ain't gonna stop where they at.
Right.
Oh no. It's not gonna stop, because if they have an affinity to their oppressor, Esau, the white man, who is Esau the child of, brothers? And guess what he gonna do? He gonna put into their spirit to do what? Kill them. All right, read verse 4.
Verse 4. Onias, seeing the danger of this contention.
Speed up.
And that Apollonius, as being the governor of Cilicia and Phoenice, did rage and increase Simon's malice. He went to the king, not to be an accuser of his countrymen, but seeking the good of all, both public and private. For he saw that it was impossible that the state should continue quiet, and Simon leave his folly, unless the king did look thereunto.
Okay, so brothers, sisters, I want you to know now, no matter, just get, because I said it's not church, get your mind right. No matter how much good IUIC, you sisters do, they are never going to see it in a beneficial factor for your nation. It is always going to be seen as evil. So that's why when they start doing that stuff, you can't feed into it, because their end goal is not for any good. There's nothing you can do to change their mind. You can dag on your own people. You can give them a ride. You can take a video, you changing their tire, smiling for another camp. And that nigga's doing that just for publicity. Oh, golly. You can march in Chicago 1,000 deep just to show a different type of image to gangbangers and drug dealers in murder capital of the world, number 2 or 3. And they will say, as for publicity, they just want to be seen of man.
I remember during the Black Panther documentary that we watched a while back, they had their own food program, right?
Yeah.
That they were feeding. And then Esau went ahead and said, no, hell no, we going to do it ourselves. That's when they implemented the WIC, was it the WIC?
Yeah, WIC.
WIC program.
Yep.
So, yeah, because as soon as we say we're going to do it ourselves to feed our people, the nations hate that.
Yep.
You know we need to be involved. So exactly what you bringing out, Cap. 100%.
Hey, one chick said on one of the comments, they not even in Chicago.
Yeah, that's photoshopped. I can't believe that.
Inglewood don't look like that.
Right.
That's
she
not
said
Chicago.
A white picket fence. No way. I didn't hear about that. They wasn't in Chicago. People on there like that's Ogden Park, 63rd Street. No way.
No way.
Other people, that's photoshopped. They wasn't really there. Fake news. I'm like, God. It's fake news. Verse 6, for he saw that it was impossible that the state should continue quiet, and Simon leave his folly. It's our people, when they got hatred against you and against your people, against their own self, it's nothing you can do to be right with them. You can't even worry about it. You just got to keep the commandments and the faith in Christ, because you're not going to change their mind at all, ever. Okay, we'll end it on that one right there. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and let's read verse 7. To show you, because this was Maccabees, the Greeks, and we read going into the land, the promised land. But one thing we got to understand, that the war never ended. Never ended. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 7.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already
iniquity. That's a Q.
Iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
Read it again.
For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work.
So this is during the time of Paul, 2,000 years ago. He said the mystery of iniquity was already at work. Already at work. Who was the mystery of iniquity that was already at work during the time of Paul? Officer Razis up front here. Just say it. Rome. So now, Officer Razis, stand back up. Give me some ways that they was already at work. Because, I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna let you see. How was they already at work?
With the destruction of Jerusalem.
Wrong. I knew they was gonna say that.
You try, bro. You try.
We're gonna give it to you. Is that Alfred back here? Alfred, stand up. How was they already at work? Because I'll show you why that right here, so you don't repeat the same thing is wrong. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
There had to be a falling away first. So 70 AD had not happened yet. Alfred, how was they already at work? Give us some ways.
By Caesar Borgia?
No, that didn't happen till 1,400 years later. Who's that back here? Emmanuel?
When Christ died, they separated themselves.
What do you mean? Who separated themselves?
Well,
don't sit down.
Sorry.
Who separated themselves?
When Christ died, they got scared. All the disciples got scared. Everybody was scared.
No. You missed it. We on Rome. How does Rome? The iniquity was already at work. Basically, Rome was already at war. Lemuel, give me one way so we can move on.
With their wicked holidays.
There you go. They it wasn't a new thing on the earth. They was already worshiping Jupiter.
There we go.
Was it Mars and Venus and Apollo, Saturn? They was already at work. Saturnalia. That stuff was already at work. A lot of people get it misunderstood. Using, we do Christmas for the kids. Christ had brothers and sisters, and they was celebrating Saturnalia, which is AKA Christmas, during the time of Christ. Christ did say, you know what? I'm going to do this for my brothers. I love my family, so let me go get a present and a gift for my mother. He didn't do that. So that's why you can't use those type of things for excuses. All of that stuff was already in play when Christ walked the earth. The Jupiter, Apollos, Mars, Saturn, all of them gods was already on the earth at that time. The Greeks was doing it, and they had pushed it on our people from long time ago. That's why some people, when we read where Paul went, he said some of our people were Greeks. They was believing in that stuff, following that stuff, and turned from their own ways. So the war had already started spiritually way back then. Now it's just going on different levels. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. Go ahead, Cap.
Also, for you to get a real good vision of what our brothers was up against, our forefathers, is a show called, was it Spartacus?
Yeah, Spartacus.
All right. Don't let the kids watch it.
Yeah.
All right. But if you get a chance, you see what the prophets, everybody was up against.
Single brothers don't watch it either.
Yeah,
you
don't
get a
watch
wife.
it either. Yeah, for real. Because it's heavy. They go in depth with their worshiping of idols, even the orgies that they was doing and everything. They was going in depth.
Yep, they was doing all of that. So the mystery of iniquity was already at work. He was already at war. All right, read Ephesians chapter 6. Let's read through this, 11 through 17 real quick.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. In the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is in the word of God.
So Paul just described to us what, brothers? What did he describe to us? Just let you all stand up. What is it? What did he describe to us?
Your armor.
John Levi. I got the same brothers with their hands up. Come on, y'all. Y'all reading the same thing we are. What did he just describe to us?
War.
Okay. You close. Bring it up front. Let's see what Isaac got.
Preparation for spiritual war.
Oh, you real close. You just not wording it right. Bartimaeus.
Shalom leadership. How to fight the war.
Okay. That's one part of it. Who's that? Benaiah in the back? Stand up. Just say it, because that mic ain't getting back here. Just say it. You got one part of the word right. Naeem, go over to the side. You got one part of the word right. Hold on, say it on the mic.
Is it things you need to protect you for the war?
Gosh. All right, I got Joseph. Just say it, stand up and say it. If you don't bring it home, I gotta give it to you. It's easy too. What is it? A spiritual warrior. He was close. He just laid out the details of what a spiritual warrior looks like. That's why he says, where's it at? Take on you we fighting spiritual wickedness in high places. Have your loins girt about with truth. You can't go to the store and buy truth and put it on your loins. He is describing a spiritual warrior to you, let you know the war never ended, it changed. It went from physical, like we read back in Maccabees, like we read from going in the land of the promised land during the times of Joshua, where we had to physically take over it. The war never ended. It was already at work. It just changed. It went to spiritual. Now, I want to let you all know this, brothers and sisters. The physical war, that's easy. All you got to do to become a good physical warrior is train for it. Do a few push-ups, some crunches, jog on the treadmill, start out 10 minutes a day, work your way up. That's easy. Learn how to shoot a gun, go to the gun range, right? You can do that. But the spiritual war, yeah, that which dwells inside of you, that's way harder. Because you're not only fighting against, I don't want to jump the gun. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. That's real quick. I ain't going to jump the gun. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And let's read 3 through 5 real quick.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3.
So he just named a spiritual warrior. Go ahead.
For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God.
Against the knowledge of God. So now it's a spiritual war, not physical anymore. But because it's a lot harder, because now you've got many different vices that are trying to take you out of the battle. It ain't just you getting a sword trying to defend the land. You ain't in your land no more. Now you just trying to stay in the army of God, which they trying to pull you out of. Whatever your vice may be, it might be money, might be drugs, might be power, might be family, might be your kids, it might be homosexuality, you might like greasy booty, whatever it might be. The vices around you, they got them all around you to take you out. It might be you've got that Christian sympathy spirit on you. So you know what? They make a documentary not even talking about the sister 95% of the documentary. How many here about show of hands have watched the documentary that popped up there? Did it seem like it was about the sister or about IUIC? You think they did that by accident? They used our sister as a scapegoat to destroy you at war, to pull you out. This is the devices of Esau. The scriptures say that the inward thought of every one of them is what, brothers? Deep. Negroes is just looking on the surface. Oh, see, they ain't even talking about the sister. They ain't even saying nothing about the sister in the country. Esau not worried about her. Esau loves death. They know people die every day. They ain't worried about her. They used our sister as a scapegoat to come against you in the war. They ain't gonna lay hands on you because that would be politically incorrect. We did that before, and you know we got a uprising, all that type stuff. We went in there and killed Fred Hampton, and we had an evil picture painter. We're not gonna do that no more because all the world is looking. So let's do things to pull them out one by one. Drugs in the community. Oh, give them freedom of religion. Give them money and tell the women to, make it clap. Tell them they can be whoever they want to be and love whoever they want to be, because Negroes are prone to sin. Yeah, make drugs legal. Yeah, just come to Colorado. You can smoke all the weed you want to. All of that stuff to keep you away from God in this spiritual battle, right? Go to 2 Corinthians 4:18. I'm going to show you something about the spirit. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18.
2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen.
This is the mindset you got to have. You can't look at the things that are seen. You got to have what God calls your spiritual eyes opened. Read on.
For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
They are eternal. So it's always going to be a spiritual battle that you are in. So you can't go into this war with fleshly eyes. You got to have spiritual eyes or you'll get consumed. It'll take you over and you won't even notice it. Go to Sirach 33 and let's read 14:15. I'm going to pull up something here. How much time I got left? Okay.
Sirach chapter 33 and verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner.
Read that part again.
So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly.
Read.
So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another.
So remember what we read in Exodus 15. Our God, our Father is a man of what, brothers? War. So from the jump, he already set up for you to be in constant battle. Whether it be physical or spiritual, God wants you to learn war since the moment he created you. That's why he set up the godly against the sinner, the good against the evil, and he made all things two and two, so you just can't relax and coast. He wants you to, because a soldier does what? A soldier always stays on his P's and Q's. God wants you to understand war in both aspects. Now it's spiritual, so you can't relax on it because evil is out there to consume you. Pull up those pictures that I got in the Sabbath class. I had to block out names so we don't get sued. But I'm going to show you. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Go in. Go in. I've been building up to something. Talk about the war is already here. It's time we cannot slack on it. Can you read that for us? Yeah, read that for me, officer.
So IUIC has given out orders to all active members to flood YouTube with comments of praise to that organization. But they all missed the point of it. All. Our beloved sister is dead and a family is in mourning. It's not about no damn IUIC. You wicked ass niggas make me sick. And there will be a judgment for each and every one of you.
He just wished death on each and every one of you in here. Now look at this. That's what I told you, brother. Sister, it ain't nothing you can do. We've all watched it. I haven't watched it. I don't even need to watch it. I already know. You watched it. That documentary is not even about our sister. That thing is aimed at IUIC, and that's what you know that they are blinded by hate. That anybody with a damn with two eyes can understand that. Oh, this is set up right here. They got an agenda right here because they hardly talking about her.
Right. Hey, brothers, do not underestimate your enemy. We fighting the best of the best amongst the heathen.
Best believe it. You know why? Because Esau's blessing is what, brothers? War. And I'm going to go over a class of that one day. Esau got many tactics of war. Negroes is worried about getting shot down the street, getting locked up. Esau got many, many different tactics of war that he'll attack you with.
So much. Now they taking nuclear bombs into space.
Oh, yeah, the Space Force.
Yeah, they just signed a bill to have nuclear weapons brought up to space. For what?
Yeah, because even when we look at what's going on, Gaddafi, remember they before they even took down all these world leaders, they made sure there was propaganda set up.
Yep,
spoke evil where the people turned on them. So I don't know how many watch what happened. We brought it out on FCN. What happened in Puerto Rico, right? How certain comments leaked, right? Personal conversation was leaked between the government, right, in Puerto Rico. And the next thing you know, they took him down. There was a riot of millions of people. People was leaving the U.S. to go fly over there just to protest. You see that? So Esau know what he doing.
Yeah, it was about like the homosexuality.
There you go. Their agenda. Babylon's agenda wasn't being pushed. So get him out. He's speaking evil of it. Get him out the way. Leak those comments.
Oh yeah. Oh, Zadok. Here come the mic.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to show how deep it is, the Department of Homeland Security's budget for 2019 is $47.5 billion just on surveilling what's going on here in America.
Explain who national security is. Homeland Security.
The Department of Homeland Security is a department that monitors everything that goes on inside of America. So basically, phone
calls,
taps,
commerce,
internet, emails, internet, everything. Their budget for 2019 alone was $47.5 billion.
And let me hip y'all to something too, like, cause you see that the documentary drops, right? And then you got all our people flooding with it, right? Y'all remember Bishop just went over the class called what? God and the what? Iron Fist program. Who did they label as the #1 threat in the world? They call it what? Black identity extremists. #1 threat in the world is people who don't even carry guns or things of that nature. Ain't really ain't having physical battle with you. They the #1 threat in the world, and then boom, they come right behind with this too. Yeah. Chopping people's head off stuff. No. Don't worry about them. They only physical. We can defeat them. These dudes is pushing something spiritual. We gotta destroy them in front of everybody. before we justify, so we can justify the killing of them when times come. Just like they did Jesus. I posted that, right? They had to turn the people against Christ before they can all yell what? Give us Barabbas! They painted Jesus in an evil light, and then all the people said, yeah, give us Barabbas. Same thing they doing now. Go back to the thing. Okay, so you know, anybody that got two eyes.
Real quick, I don't think the brothers understood what you just said, though.
Well, they better. I hope they do after this
because
class.
You said they have to destroy us,
the image,
before our image before the whole world, before they start killing us.
Yep.
And you brothers better get your mind ready, because that prophecy where Christ said you're going to drink of that cup, it means that they are going to kill us.
And the thing is you know, you can't hide, because God already told you got to walk around with what on your shirt all days. You can't hide. There, you a light. Everybody know who you are. Matthias.
They basically setting the stage.
Yeah.
Setting the stage and preparing for slaughter.
Yeah.
That's all they doing.
Let me get to this. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Blow it up. Blow it up. So now they got Bishop up there. Look what it says. Idolatry 101. Come on, dude. Come on. All right, read the next one.
It says, IUIC lost their credibility a long time ago. I understand them to be a corporate pyramid scheme of businessmen pushing a brand.
Dang, oh, godly.
Hey, I wish I was part of that pyramid.
Man, some of that money trickled down to me.
I'm broke as a joke.
Broke. Broke. Let me look into the camera. I'm broke.
For real. Goodness gracious.
Okay, so we're a corporate Ponzi scheme now. Okay. Go ahead.
Y'all already have the mark of the beast in your forehead because of your praise of this Antichrist.
Good Lord.
You have it in your hands as you...
Go to the next one. It's on the next one, I think.
You have it in your hands as you put in work representing him, the Antichrist. Repent and live.
Goodness gracious. We passing out flyers on a daily basis, going on the corner telling repent for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We not on the corner say repent for Bishop Nathaniel wants you in IUIC. Right. As many times that I've been on the corner that brothers that don't like IUIC, I say don't join somebody. You ain't gotta join IUIC, just join somebody, brother. I just say that 2-3 times on the street.
And you know what, Cap? It's actually camps that do say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where the honorable such and such and such and
they
such.
say we the only home of the truth. Other camps do. Never one post against them.
Never one post.
As ever you brought that out. Give me the next one. Right there.
I feel sick thinking how stupid I was. I don't about anyone else, but I discovered them after going through some trauma, and I was searching for meaning in life. Then I got seduced by the history and twisted precepts.
The history and twisted precepts. So Deuteronomy 28 is it's a figment of our imagination, and it's twisted.
Cap, how you get history? How you get twisted by facts?
Right.
Yeah.
I got twisted by history.
That clearly shows they hate their history.
They hate it.
Because we show you your history to what? We fell, and we're destined to rise back up.
Yep.
So that means he's against that.
That's crazy.
He's against that. They hate their history.
Twisted by history.
Damn.
Go back to it. Now I'm pulling these things out here so you can be. Remember, this is spiritual war, and Paul, he identified the things you got. You got to take the spirit of faith, the sword, which is the Bible, the shield of all of the hope, whatever it might be, because these things are not meant for the non-believers. It's meant to pull you out. That's who Satan is wroth with. He's wroth with the woman that keep the commandments. So it's hoping that you come across this and be like, you know what? I do feel like I've been shysted. They didn't answer my question during Q&A. That's because they know if they read it, it's going to expose them.
Right.
You know what? Let me start looking at these why I left IUIC videos. See, oh, yep, see, that makes perfect sense. They understand me. Let me find them and sit on the other side of the computer with them. Go back to it.
I bless the Most High for blank.
I remember reading.
I remember reading that. It still applies.
I don't know what they're talking about. Read that next part.
Genesis 49ers broke this down.
We Genesis 49ers. So the breakdown of the tribes ain't right. Okay, go ahead.
You good?
Yeah, you good.
You good now, my family. The Most High is in control of all things. 100. Remember, one man plants, one man water, but it is the Most High who gives the increase.
Okay, so IUIC just being the forerunners, the vanguards through the Spirit of Christ, and this thing being increased. God ain't doing that. Nah. You had a certain amount of numbers last year at the men's conference march in Memphis, and now a year later it increased. God's not doing that. He's not giving that increase. That's Satan. Okay, read that. Did a lot of damage.
Did a lot of damage to my relationship, though. The austere attitude stayed after I had left. The doctrine had me hating everyone and everything. I was not myself or happy. It's BS.
So, look at this. I couldn't love the white man how I wanted to in all these other nations like I was raised to do. It had me unhappy. I had to leave there so I can restore the joy of being asleep. That's a cipher in the Matrix. Y'all know who Cypher is in the Matrix? He said, I don't want to remember nothing. I don't want to be rich. I want to be like a movie star. Put me back to sleep. Go back to it.
He called the proper order in the household trash. They said, oh, it messed up my relationship.
And look at this. The austere, what did he go back? He said the austere personality or spirit. What did he say?
The austere attitude stayed after I had left.
Christ was an austere man. We are supposed to measure up to the measure and the stature of Jesus Christ into a perfect man. So the man of God having an austere spirit, that's of God. A demeanor, that's of God. That ain't IUIC telling you gotta be rough and tough when you come in here. That's of the Bible. He want the Christianity. Yeah, that's what he want. Go back to it.
It says, glad to be out, but I wish I never went at all. IUIC London.
Okay, go ahead. Next one.
Alright, can you make
read the last one.
Letting you know.
Oh yeah, this is it.
They're a cult. Damn.
Okay. Go ahead.
IUIC march against murder. Gets praised by their congregation. MLK march for non-violence against murder and gets called coon. False prophet.
How many of y'all know about is there a scripture that relates to MLK in the Bible? Who knows about that? Okay, so as long as you know. Go ahead. Go back to it.
IUIC march against murder. Gets praised by their congregation. MLK march for nonviolence against murder and gets called coon. False prophet.
He didn't even spell prophet right. Go ahead.
Etc. By IUIC. And they love to be seen of men so much that they get angry when it's not televised.
Okay. All right. Is it a video after that or is it more pictures after that? Oh, okay, yeah, these is the ungodly Negroes too. Okay, so that was the people that know they Israel. Look at the people that's out here in the world. Read the ones that circled.
Mastered marching and chanting. Wonderful.
With the little face.
They'll march against their own people while saying and doing nothing against the system.
Oh God. Go back. Yeah, where you at? Scroll down. Yeah, you guys.
You guys are two of the most negative and cynical men I have ever met. Why even comment?
So some people ain't falling for the BS. Go to the next one. Next picture. Next picture. Read it fast.
You guys are two of them. I read that one. Go down. That's it, right? Why is a difference of opinion negative? It's not a difference of opinion. It's a flat out attack.
It's a flat out attack. Some people see it. Go ahead.
Post positive stories about our people. I make positive comments on others posts that has positive messages I have shared. Although people do not understand cryptocurrency.
Oh God, it's about money
and other market news to try to help us. So when I comment on something I believe is BS, I'm negative. Laugh out loud.
So I'm telling y'all, those with non-spiritualized, the stuff we do will never make anyone happy, dude. Our people got two avenues. Really? Yeah, they got two avenues to try to escape their oppression. It's always money, come to money, and democracy. Vote the right president. You got to get out and vote. That's the only two avenues that our people use to try to change their condition. That is it. They have nowhere else to go. And none of it's working for them. Do we got a video after this? All right, go ahead, pull it up. Oh yeah, so now this is what's happening about the march. Just to show you, this is the war. So now people have been sharing the march on Facebook so much. Look what Facebook is doing now when people try to share it.
You're temporarily blocked from using share.
Now we can't even share it no more.
Says this is because
I can't even find the video.
That happened on Instagram.
They blocked it on Instagram too?
Yeah. To the community rules.
Community rules. They blocked the positive march that we had in Chicago. Blow it up. Let's read what they say.
This is because you use the share feature more times than our community standards allow.
Really?
In a certain period of time.
Now they got a certain amount of times you can share something positive. Wow.
You can learn more about how Block works in the Help Center.
Telling y'all, this is not a game.
Hey, we making Esau create rules, man.
On the fly.
Create rules and stop this truth.
Go to the video. On the fly. But this is what our sisters and brothers saw. Look at the words of her mouth. This is what our people are hating against. They do that for TV.
Let the people know. Some of us used to shave our face. Not no more. Some of us used to get that juice. Not no more. Some of us used to be in the game. Some of us used to be in the game. Not no more. Not no more.
I love it. Black baby. We powerful, baby. We powerful, baby. Hey. Hey. Yes. I love it. They deep. Oh my God. I love it. They can't tell us we can't unite.
That's right.
No way. This unity right there, baby.
All right, cut that. Did y'all hear the words she said? She said, this is powerful. They can't tell us we can't unite. This is unity. That's why we do what we do. Right. Just march. It ain't marching kumbaya and all of that. No, we are marching to give our people a different vision, something to aspire to.
Hey, Kat, in her voice, you can hear she believes there's still hope.
Yep.
That there's still hope. There's some slither of hope out there for black people.
And she needed to see that because the place Inglewood is one of the most violent areas in Chicago. They've never seen that. They've never seen unity amongst each other. They needed to see that, to have some hope in these last days, that they can do better than where they are, that it's something higher, a better calling than where they are. So give me 1 Maccabees 3 and 43 real quick, because headquarters about to come on. Give me 1 Maccabees 3:43.
1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 43. They said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight.
And let us do what?
Fight.
Let us what?
Fight.
You fight in what type of atmosphere, brothers? War. War. Read it again.
And let us fight for our people and the sanctuary.
So let us fight. If what we doing is considered evil, we're going to keep on doing it.
That's right.
Because what we are doing, we are fighting for our people in the midst of this spiritual war.
That's right.
You brothers understand that?
Yes, sir.
You sisters understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right.
Make it so hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.